Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pile on podcast. Once again, coming back home and permanently staying home. I am one of your three hosts, Richard Bradshaw, joined always by co-host Donnie Druin.
Ohio State didn't deserve to get in the college football playoff, and I'm happy.
And Skylar Burkhart.
I second that motion.
And I third that motion. The Pile on podcast is brought to you by Statement Games, where you make the statements and they pay you for the games. Gentlemen, this is the college football edition of the Pile on podcast. If you missed it, or if you're saving it, we also have an NFL edition that comes out every Wednesday with the college episode. Boys, I miss doing college with you guys. It's by far my favorite thing to do. We got probably 3 topics to talk about, and it's going to take up the whole damn episode.
Oh.
But that's okay. So we're going to start with some breaking news. Kelly Bryant, former quarterback of the Clemson Tigers, decided to transfer with Sunshine Trevor Lawrence dominating the actual quarterbacking position and not running it on every play.
Where'd he transfer to, Richie?
Kelly Bryant has decided to take his talents to the shittiest state in the country, Missouri.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
Oh, wow.
That title belongs to Mississippi.
But what's Missouri?
Missouri.
Which college?
I said Missouri.
State?
Mizzou.
Sorry, Mizzou. Is that better?
University of Missouri, Mizzou. There you go.
Anyways, to replace... I already forgot his name.
Drew Lock?
Drew Lock. It's going to be a completely different offense with Kelly Bryant under center there. But I honestly think Bryant will make them more competitive.
How?
Yeah, but to a point. For Kelly Bryant, this whole transfer is kind of interesting because he could have gone either one of two ways. First route is to get him ready for the pros because obviously he has aspirations to go into the NFL. I think it might help that Drew Lock was there, and he kind of saw what Mizzou did for Drew Lock. And then Chase Daniel as well, even though Chase Daniel hasn't had the best NFL career. Dude got, 3-year, $21 million deal?
Yeah, and Blaine Gabbert was a first-round pick.
Yeah, so, Mizzou's no joke by
Remember Matty Mott?
Nation. Yes.
What a douchebag.
But, just thinking in terms of college, I'm not sure kind of why he chose Mizzou. It'll be interesting to see the stuff that comes out about it. Scott, you're a Mizzou fan. You're still kind of trying to figure everything out.
I just got on Twitter before we got on the podcast, and I saw the news. I was like, why? What do we have to offer him? I went back and looked at our wide receiving core. We have a redshirt junior, Jonathan Johnson, freshman, Jalen Knox, Emmanuel Hall's a senior this year, so we're not going to see him.
Pull up your schedule for next year.
For next year?
Yes.
I can definitely pull it up.
Do that. And in the meantime, I definitely thought that there were better options. For one, why not go just across the way to South Carolina and be a Gamecock and totally spite Clemson?
Yeah.
Why not go to North Carolina in the ACC where it's much easier competition and you still get to play them every year? Why not try and go to a team like Auburn that caters to those kind of quarterbacks?
Yeah.
And you're in the SEC and everyone's going to be looking at you.
Yep.
Got our schedule up. So, at Wyoming, West Virginia, Southeast Missouri, South Carolina, Troy, Ole Miss for a homecoming game, Vanderbilt, Kentucky, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Arkansas. That's not an easy schedule by any means.
I was just curious if Clemson was going to appear.
Yeah.
I would like to. I like us to be really challenged, but we do have Georgia on there.
Everyone on that list is going to be a real challenge for Mizzou.
Georgia. Big name. I mean,
I was thinking Troy, but...
I mean, you can't sleep in West Virginia, even though they are losing...
Will Greer and David Sills.
And then you have Kentucky, which has been playing good as of late. Vanderbilt's always a sleeper. Florida's always right there. And then, of course, Georgia, the biggest name on the list. Georgia almost beat Alabama this last week.
Yeah.
And in the national championship. But they are who we thought they were.
This is not an easy schedule for them. And to have Hurts on there and not a really good wide receiving core, let alone the rest of the team is very talented, I don't see why he came here.
If you want to go to the SEC, I think Auburn is definitely the destination everybody's circling. I've seen Arkansas thrown out as a possible school for him to go to as well. I'm surprised he's not going to a school like Miami or Florida State.
I think there's too much. Maybe his parents had to roll into kind of more party area. They're kind of average at this point. He wanted to go to an up-and-coming school. Mizzou kind of fits that.
No.
But there's definitely better colleges.
Stop.
They're not an up-and-coming school.
They're in the SEC. They've been playing great as of late under Drew Lock. He thinks he can do better.
No. Buddy, just let it
I'm just
go.
saying what his mentality is. He could think he could do better in Mizzou, and I don't think so.
Let's talk Heisman Trophy.
Okay.
We officially have our Heisman finalists. You have all three of them quarterbacks. Surprise, surprise. Dwayne Haskins from Ohio State, who is setting just about every Big Ten and Ohio State passing yards record you can think of. Kyler Murray at Oklahoma, who is lighting up the college scene and turning into the athlete that made him such a highly touted recruit way back when, was the 7th overall pick in baseball by the Oakland A's.
I'm not sure who drafted him.
It's on the West Coast. It might be the Seattle Mariners. I don't remember. I think it's the A's, but don't quote me on that. And, of course, Tua Tagovailoa, who initially was the runaway favorite, but we're going to touch on that here in a minute. But Tua has put together a marvelous season, which has seen Alabama do something historically great as they are top to bottom and head and shoulders above the rest of the NCAA in terms of talent, competition level, and skill, coaching, player talent, everything.
So, two things. Going back to the whole Kelly Bryant thing. Remember, there was talk of him not playing quarterback at the next level. They want him to play a little bit of wide receiver.
Yes.
So he's transferring to Missouri, supposedly because their system is going to be able to display all of his passing talents and let him do a lot of things. So he's kind of making the move to show he could be a passer at the next level. And then Kyler Murray is the 9th overall pick, but you were right, the Oakland A's.
Thank you.
Continue.
Tua has had an incredible season.
Yes.
But he's been banged up all year, and there are starting to develop some warts around his Heisman campaign. Meanwhile, Kyler Murray has been outstanding. So we'll start with this. Tua's injury, especially getting knocked out of the SEC championship game, only to see Jalen Hurts come in and make so many grown men cry because of how incredible and remarkable his story is.
Yeah.
Does Tua's injury and Jalen Hurts' revival seriously hurt, if not kill, Tua's Heisman chances?
Yes and no. Tua, I believe Tua's whole body of work and what he's done through a season alone is enough to kind of put him on the pedestal above a guy like Haskins and I completely forgot the other candidate. Haskins, Tua, and Murray. Yeah. And I think what Tua's done, it's been his award the entire season. He's ran away with it. Bless you. I don't know, man. It all depends on the recency bias that the Heisman voters are going to have. Is this performance going to kind of sit back in the mind of the voters? Because if they let the Georgia performance kind of take everything to like account, then I think it's Kyler Murray's. I think it's Murray's tenfold. But if they're staying true to what the Heisman should be, and it's voting for the best player all season, I think it's still Tua's, and I still think it's not even close.
Kyler Murray almost leads all stats over Tua and Dwayne Haskins. The only one that really stands out is interceptions. He has 7 compared to Tua's 4. Everything else he really has.
And Tua threw 2 this past weekend.
Another thing that stands out, Tua's touchdown to interception rate is the 9.25 compared to Murray's 5.71. I mean, a lot of these other stats, they're not really even close. Murray has head over heels better stats than Tua. So, I mean, it really depends on the voters where they're going to swing. Is it stats or what they really see on tape?
I don't know, because if the stats are great, numbers are awesome to look at, but you have to look at how they're playing and who they're playing. Tua's schedule top to bottom makes Kyler Murray's schedule look like a cakewalk. Kyler Murray's is almost a cakewalk, if we're being honest.
It's the Big 12.
Yeah, it's the Big 12. They don't play defense. And it's fine. It's great. We as football fans can watch a Rams-Chiefs Monday night game and love it, and then we turn on a Big 12 game, we're thinking, hey, what is this? But, facts are facts. In the Big 12, they don't play a whole lot of defense.
No.
And, look at the two systems. Kyler Murray plays for Lincoln Riley, one of the best offensive minds in the nation, in the whole country. Kyler Murray doesn't have a run game to kind of lean back and support him. He's slinging out of the fucking spread the whole entire game. And look at Tua. Tua's handing the ball off, minimum 15, 20 times a game? Look at the running backs what Alabama has.
Oh, they've always had good running backs.
Yeah, exactly, but that's my point. You can't hold numbers over Tua's head.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what it comes down to a lot of times is numbers. You can't deny, though, Kyler Murray is by far the more exciting athlete and the highlight reel guy.
Yeah.
What he's able to do with his legs is outstanding. He's got an arm. He really does, and that's why he got drafted in the Major League Baseball, is because of the heat that he can throw. But the argument that I hate is, Tua is surrounded with more NFL talent. Okay, let's break it down. Tua has 3 wide receivers who will be playing in the NFL. 2 of them will be first-round picks, and Henry Ruggs III and Jerry Jeudy, who's an animal.
Yeah.
He's got 3 running backs for sure that will be in the NFL, and Najee Harris, Damian Harris, and Josh Jacobs. He's got a fantastic offensive line. Irv Smith, the tight end, could be a first-round pick. That's fantastic. Let's go to Oklahoma. 2 offensive linemen in Michael Jordan and Ben Powers, who could be day 2 picks in the NFL draft. CeeDee Lamb, incredibly underrated. And I don't know if you guys know who this is. Do you know who Marquise Hollywood Brown is?
Who?
Hollywood Brown? Marquise?
I think I've seen him in a couple reports, yeah.
Maybe a few highlights, right?
Yeah.
Like once or twice a week? Maybe more than that?
Yeah, more than that.
And who was his coach again?
Lincoln, Nebraska.
Lincoln
Riley Curry.
Lincoln Riley. Set up perfectly to succeed. And Nick Saban is the greatest coach of any sport of all time, but he's not an offensive guy.
Yeah.
He just hires guys to make his offense better. Saban is recruiting and just making the whole team as a whole better, but that's a defensive guy. Top to bottom, it's a really tough race. We can go ahead and say that Haskins got the invite just to get the invite. He's making too many turnovers, and his team's not in the playoff. That's the difference. Tua and Kyler Murray are going to be in the playoff. What's that?
There's only one more than Murray with 8 interceptions compared to Murray's 7. It's not too much.
You look at the completion percentage. That should be a pretty substantial differential.
It's actually not too much either. That's the scary thing. These numbers are pretty close with a lot of them.
They are a lot closer than I would give them credit for, but I would tell you that Haskins is
a risk taker.
Way down my list compared to Kyler and Tua. And honestly, if Dwayne Haskins gets any first-round votes, it's going to be from Eddie George.
Or Troy Smith.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Does Archie Griffin get a vote?
It's 2.
Yeah, really. He should. That's all Haskins should get. It should be between Kyler and Tua. So with all the facts on the table, guys, let's go round table here. Starting with Donnie, who are you casting your Heisman vote for? P.S. We are definitely interested in getting Heisman votes. If anyone is listening, we would love to get votes because we are unbiased, and N'Keal Harry's getting mine.
Mine's going to go to Tua. I've been just blown away by the different levels he's taken this Alabama offense to. We haven't seen a Crimson Tide quarterback like this, I think, ever.
Ever. They've had Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
You've had Ken Stabler, Joe Namath, and Bart Starr. But none of them were exceptional college guys the way that Tua is.
Yeah. I just think, are Kyler Murray's numbers better? Yeah, sure. Phenomenal. I just think Tua's entire body of work, just kind of how he's come up and the things he's been able to do this year, I think that's been enough. I think Tua's been more consistent than Kyler Murray. We've seen Murray disappear in games this year. Kyler Murray, he had the first 2-3 hot starts, and we sat down here at the table and we talked about it. And you, my man, you weren't particularly sold on him because you wanted to see it do it for a whole season.
And I've owned up to that, have I not?
Well, no, but I wasn't using that against you.
I know. I'm just making sure that everyone else knows.
No, we tried, we wanted to see him not go up and down, but to continue a straight line.
Consistency.
Yeah, and Tua's been far more consistent at a higher level than Kyler has. Are Kyler's peaks higher than Tua? Absolutely. But is Kyler a more entertaining player? Absolutely. But if I'm giving out an award for the best college football player this year, it's going to be Tua Tagovailoa.
I would agree with that. I would do Tua. Just what his body, like you said, body of work coming from Alabama, that's the best Alabama quarterback we've ever seen. The work that he's put out there. My only thought is what these voters are going to do. I think it's going to go to Murray, and I really hope it doesn't, just because they're going to watch stats. They're going to kind of focus on the highlights of his games, those big games that he's thrown, and that's going to take away from Tua just because they kind of just watch the highlights.
But see, like I wouldn't be upset if Kyler Murray walks away with the Heisman. That's the thing. I wouldn't be mad. I would fully understand the committee going and giving him the Heisman. However, I just think Tua's not like earned it or like deserves it more. I just think he's had a more put together product than he has.
More complete season compared to Murray.
Exactly.
And a more competition if you want to go further into it.
Richie?
I think it's really hard not to give the award to Tua with for the third time now. His body of work, the level of competition, Tua's the slam dunk. But I'm giving the award to Kyler Murray.
Okay.
And that's because I don't think Murray at any point this season has slowed down or really had a bad start where Tua, A, has been banged up majority of the year, and B, he just had a really bad start against Georgia.
Got pulled.
He got injured. He almost broke his ankle. Nonetheless, Kyler Murray is unstoppable. And he does have slightly less talent, but a much better coach. But at the end of the day, his highlight film is going to be a lot more expansive. Kyler is by far the more explosive athlete, which to me makes him probably a little bit better college player. More than anything, I think it would be pretty cool to have another Heisman Trophy winner who never played a snap in the NFL.
Ooh. Yeah, that would be cool.
There was a guy for Florida State way back in the day who did that. He ended up going to Major League Baseball. Yeah. Won a Heisman Trophy but never played in the NFL. I just can't think of his name.
Huh.
But besides that fact, I just think that it's so hard not to give it to Kyler. And also, the 180 that I've taken on Kyler Murray.
No kidding.
Oh, dude, it's been night and
You had rants about him. I mean, you were so against him, and look how it just turned.
And now I'm like his biggest fan.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at Kyler Murray's game log this year, and I'm seeing dips. I'm seeing 81% completion percentage 1 week, and then it drops down to 57 next week. A few weeks of like 70s, first with 80, goes back down to 57 again. And I understand quarterbacks have bad games, but we're talking about the Heisman Trophy, and then we're talking about comparing a guy with Tua Tagovailoa. Are you pulling up his numbers, Adam?
I'm trying to.
Okay.
I'm struggling.
No, you're good.
I don't doubt you at all. I just want to take a look for myself.
What other players beside? Well, no. Let's talk about Haskins. Let's talk about the third man. He's raw. He's a little bit raw. And I do think the talent is there, not only for him to go pro, but I think if he wanted to, he could come back and then he could possibly win the Heisman again. If a guy like Herbert didn't get hurt, do you think we'd be talking about him right now?
Yeah, we would definitely talk about Herbert. I think he's put up a pretty good year. Haskins kind of reminds me a little bit of Teddy Bridgewater. Really? Mine. Just a little bit. I mean, just the...
Teddy didn't make nearly as many risky throws.
Teddy was a lot more careful with the ball.
They both had a big arm.
If only he was more careful, isn't he?
Wow.
That was not his fault. You know that.
I'm sorry. I love Teddy.
Right.
Anyone can dig that up and know that I love Teddy. That wasn't nice. I'm sorry, Teddy.
Teddy's going to be the future of the Saints. How dare you?
You mean the Giants?
All right, then.
Back to college.
By the way, can we ditch the college passer rating numbers?
I don't understand it.
235, 238, 224. What am I looking at?
I have legitimately, they have a calculator. I make the stats higher every single time. 100% completion, yardage, and everything. And it just gets higher and higher. There's no ceiling. You literally can have a passer rating above 1,000 in college football.
That's great.
And it still would go. I don't understand it. It's so stupid.
Why don't they just I don't understand. 2 feet, passer rating, get to NFL standards. Just basically be the younger NFL. Just get everything on the same page so when they transfer over, just easy little process.
But you can't assume these kids are transferring over because then that gets into the whole money debate. And the NCAA hates money.
And their players.
Yeah, really.
We can't afford to pay them.
Well, they're getting a scholarship. That's all that matters.
Under the table.
Exactly. So then I think that just about wraps that up. Unless you guys really have an argument for Dwayne Haskins.
No. I think it's clear the race is between Murray and Tua. Like I said, my vote would go to Tua, but I understand Murray has better numbers, and I wouldn't be upset if he won the Heisman. I think they're both deserving. I think it's a pretty top-heavy, strong year for the Heisman, but I'd go Tua if you're holding a gun to my head.
I'm looking at a lot of years in college where it was 3 quarterbacks for the finalists. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that Drew Brees was up for the Heisman back in 2000. I'm really surprised by that. It was Chris Winkie got the winner, and then from Florida State, Joseph Hupel from Oklahoma, and then Drew Brees at Purdue. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well then, boys, let's go ahead and jump into the last conversation we have for the episode. And don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very, very long conversation that we're about to have. And it has to do with the college football playoff. First of all, nice. Did your phone break?
It was already broken.
Nice. Well, there you go.
I'm getting a new one by Thursday or Friday.
Nice.
You had Black Friday to get a new phone.
I work Black Friday.
Hit a brother up. I can hook you up. Save you some money.
It's all good.
Better than the NCAA can save you money.
Yeah, what's saving money to them?
Just go to Walmart. Save money. Live better. The playoff is announced, boys. Number 1, obviously, Alabama. Number 2, Clemson. Number 3, Notre Dame. We knew those for a fact. The number 4 seed came down to the wire. And very fortunately for us, it was the Oklahoma Sooners. I have never cheered harder for the Sooners, and I hope I never have to again.
Agreed.
Did the committee get it right? Let's start the conversation right there.
We can break this down by seed if you want to, actually. Number 1, Alabama. Yeah.
No question.
Nope. Yeah, even with their struggles against Georgia, they proved they were still top dog. They proved football is still a 60-minute game. So, number 2, Clemson. I also think they got this right. Yep. Clemson is by far been the second best team in the country.
Yep.
Number 3, number 4 is where you start to get a little bit iffy. Okay, Notre Dame. Yes or no to being in the playoff?
No. Based off a point you said earlier, a couple weeks back about Notre Dame, where they should be, who they should be playing to be able to get there.
Yeah, go to a conference.
Exactly.
However, I do think it's really hard to keep an undefeated team with the prestige that Notre Dame has out of the playoff. And quite frankly, I want to see Clemson smack them. Right on the floor, give me some more till you get sore.
So, I'm kind of off and on about Notre Dame. I agree with them being in the Final Four, only because the original college football playoff rankings had them in as a top 4 team.
You don't see them as number 3.
But that's fine. But it's once you put them in there, it's really hard to justify them being put out if they don't lose. And they didn't. They were down to USC late in the game. They came back and won. And that was kind of the final cap on their season. How can you, even though I don't like Notre Dame, I think they're, like Richie said, they're prestigious. I think that, their heads are kind of...
Everyone knows who Notre Dame is. Everyone knows about South Bend and the history they have at that program.
You can't put a team like Notre Dame in and then kick them out a few weeks later, even though they've won every single game. And that's kind of the problem the committee put itself in. Even though the controversy isn't surrounding Notre Dame, had they had Notre Dame sitting at 5 or 6 going through the original playoff standings, this might be a different story. We might be talking about Oklahoma and Georgia being 3 and 4 and Notre Dame sitting out. Because honestly, do you think Georgia's a better team than Notre Dame?
Yes.
I think
over heels.
I think if they played on a neutral site, I think Georgia would smack them.
I think playing in South Bend, they would smack them.
But, Notre Dame, you can only play your schedule. They won all 12 of their games.
Well, and you're not going to put Georgia in there with 2 losses.
Yeah. And that was the super tough thing. Had Texas hung on to Oklahoma, I definitely think Georgia would have been the next team in. But no, once
Not Central Florida?
Okay, let's talk about that.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
And that argument kind of gets put on Notre Dame. Hey, you want to be in the playoffs? Get your ass in a conference that actually plays football against these teams fighting for a spot every year.
Exactly.
Or at least schedule an Alabama or Georgia or Clemson.
Yeah. But no, that's the point. If Notre Dame can go 12-0 playing these kind of teams, where their worst game this year was going to USC or to Virginia Tech.
Hey, they played Stanford. And Syracuse was ranked when they played them.
Oh my God.
Hey, Cuse has been really good this year.
They have.
I think Donovan McNabb is back.
I think Shamarko Thomas is back.
I thought he never left. I know he was drafted in the 3rd round, but I can think of maybe one time I saw him on the field for Pittsburgh.
Hey, he's on Denver now. He's playing special teams. I follow him on Instagram.
Hey, that's another fun case of holy shit, this guy is still in the NFL?
Yeah. All right, so Bama 1, Clemson 2, Notre Dame 3. Does Notre Dame belong at 3 or do they belong at 4? Or do you think they should be out?
Honestly, I think they're out. They got to be in a conference. I understand, congratulations, you won your, whatever their division, whatever we want to call it.
There isn't a division. They're just independent.
Yeah, they're independent.
Congratulations, you get high five and a championship ring for your record. Whoop-de-doo. And you have to get in a conference to get in the playoffs because that's what everyone else is fighting for.
I think Notre Dame is a good team, but I don't think they're better than Bama, Clemson, Oklahoma, Ohio State, or Georgia. And honestly, I would love to see Notre Dame play UCF. I would love to see that.
Yeah. That's what they should do. Have their own separate playoff bracket and just have them two go at it.
So, bottom line, Oklahoma got in over Ohio State. Is the committee, did they get this right? I got to say yes. I think this is slam dunk, one of the best playoffs that they've established, even with Notre Dame in there.
Yeah, no, I don't have a huge problem with Notre Dame being in there, but Ohio State did not deserve to get in. Nope. What quality wins do they have? They struggled against Northwestern. Their 2 best wins came against a extremely overrated Michigan team and a extremely overrated Penn State team. Michigan's playing in the Citrus Bowl.
Yeah, they got screwed.
That's actually my bowl game we're going to talk about later. But no, Ohio State, they lost against Purdue. They struggled against a 2-win Nebraska team. No, don't. The last time these guys got put in the college football playoff, they got their shit smacked. And as much as I would love to see that happen on the national stage, they don't belong with these teams.
When was the last time they got in?
2 years ago. Never Clemson beat them 31.
Yes, they got shut out.
Yeah, here in Glendale.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I know what you're talking about. I just can't.
Yeah, Sean Watson was on that team.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Mike Williams put a beat down on Gary and Conley.
Yeah. But no, I think the conversation is more towards whether or not Georgia got shafted more than Ohio State.
Shafted.
Yeah.
Well, give me your final verdict. Did they get it right?
Yeah. I think Oklahoma winning the Big 12 helped a lot, especially exercising their defense against Texas. I think the committee wanted an exciting player like Kyler Murray to get in the college football playoff. Do you think Georgia would beat Oklahoma?
Yes. No.
That's tough.
No. Final answer. I don't think the Georgia defense, which is very good, I don't think they can stop Kyler Murray. And honestly, Kyler Murray is going to give Alabama a run for their money because the one thing Bama has not figured out how to do is stop a mobile quarterback.
We shall see. Final verdict, Richie, I'm going to have to agree with you. I think this is probably by far the best bracket the committee's done in their, was it 4 years? 4 years of doing it? 4 or 5?
No, 3 let's see. Bama, then Clemson, then Bama, then Ohio State. So this is the 5th year.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is the best bracket so far.
Could you make an argument for Georgia over Oklahoma?
Yeah, you could. No, and that was the best case. Hey, yeah, Georgia lost against Alabama, but barely. They hung in with your supposed number one team. You're telling me this team isn't a top 4 team in the country when we had these guys on the ropes for a majority of the game?
That's who I'd want as my number 4. I'd put Oklahoma maybe as 3, Georgia 4. But, I mean, it is what it is.
No, I could definitely see that.
So the next question for you guys, we kind of already answered this. Ohio State, did they get cheated? I think our verdict is no.
No, absolutely not.
They got what they deserved.
Okay, one more question. The Ohio State missing the playoff, they're more recognizable than Oklahoma. No one's going to disagree with that. Did they only miss it because of the Zach Smith situation?
No.
What do you mean? Do you think...
The domestic violence.
Do you think the committee was kind of like
biased?
Watching that? Are you saying that's the reason?
It could be. I'm saying flirt with it, especially. Do you know the kind of backlash they would have gotten from fans if they put Ohio State in?
Not for that reason, though. All of that smoke is cleared. Nobody cares about that anymore.
Isn't that sad?
Yeah, it's extremely sad.
We predicted it, though. It would all just blow away. And people forget that.
It's what happens, man. You win a couple football games and it goes away.
Well, and Urban retired, so
yeah, for a second time. We'll see how long that lasts.
I'm telling you, just in 2020, he'll be the head coach of the USC Trojans.
I think he might go back to Florida, to be honest.
Yeah.
But no, community got it right. I'm really excited for these games. I'm excited to watch Clemson beat the piss out of Notre Dame. I'm excited to watch Alabama and Oklahoma battle against each other.
Speaking of getting the piss beat out of you, let's talk about Central Florida for a second. First of all, I thought it was really cool when they went undefeated last year and claimed themselves as national champions. I thought that was funny. I love the swagger and the attitude that they had behind it. But now all of their students and all their fans seem to think that they can take on the best of the best. I've seen arguments that they could take on Ohio State because they lost to Purdue and they struggled with Michigan and blah, blah, blah. And they could take on Oklahoma. Boys, let's be real here. How many of the teams we just talked about for the playoff could they beat? Let's go top to bottom. Alabama, it's no.
No.
Not even close. Bama wins by 3 or 4 possessions. Number 2, Clemson, no. Another no. Firm no. 3, Notre Dame. I think that's your best chance to win.
Listen, is this a game where they're playing, like, right now, like, let's say UCF is in the playoff. Are they playing against these teams? Because if Mackenzie Milton isn't healthy, then no. They can't beat any of these teams regardless of what happens. They struggle against
right
Memphis.
this second.
If it's right this second, no. They struggled against Memphis.
Memphis is ranked. Memphis has Brady White.
Congrats!
You're just mad because Penn State sucks.
They do.
Did they make a bowl game?
They did.
Yeah. That's all that matters.
They play Kentucky.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting, isn't it?
That is. Yeah. Kentucky's been very good.
They have.
Regardless. So, for argument's sake, we'll give them Mackenzie Milton.
Okay.
Their best chance to win against any of these teams is going to be Notre Dame.
Neutral site, yeah. I think I would entertain picking them over Notre Dame, yeah.
But I think I would still take the Fighting Irish. Skyler.
No.
You have to.
I think UCF has more fight than we give them credit for. I mean, they could be Notre Dame. I would love to see
that
it.
Guy.
I want to see it.
Oh, we all would.
Let's go get NCAA. Oh wait, don't have that.
Exactly.
Game.
That's not funny.
That's worse than my joke about Teddy Bridgewater.
That is.
That's sinful. Get the fuck out of my house. I'm very disappointed.
Hey, we'll see. They play LSU in the Fiesta Bowl. So if they beat LSU, then we can start talking about it.
Oh, but LSU is super overrated.
Says who?
Says Central Florida fans.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead and give me LSU in that fight.
UCF schedule. UConn, South Carolina State.
Sucks.
Yeah. Their game against North Carolina got canceled. FAU, Pitt, SMU, Memphis, East Carolina, Temple, Navy, Cincinnati, USF, and then Memphis.
Cincinnati, yeah.
Dude, they were trailing South Florida for a while.
You could argue their best win was against Pitt because Pitt made the ACC championship game. Granted, they got the breaks beaten off them by Clemson, but still, they won the ACC. Is it Coastal?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't know much about the divisions outside of the Pac-12.
Okay. Still, your best win's against Pitt.
Yeah.
Come on.
And let's be honest, even if they played North Carolina, that's not selling me on you playing a dynamic college football team.
Yeah.
North Carolina has been very okay in this decade. Outside of that, that's a basketball school. Just stop.
Yeah.
Get some help.
Stop.
Next, Oklahoma. That's a big fat no for me. Kyler Murray would kill him.
Yeah, I think Kyler Murray would put up video game numbers.
Ooh, Kyler. Kill him. Skyler?
I'd agree with that.
I'm not sure the order after this.
Okay, Georgia.
Yeah, give me the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I'll take the Bulldogs.
All day.
Good.
Ohio State? I'll take the Buckeyes.
I'll take the Buckeyes.
I think it'd be
Michigan.
close thing for the Buckeyes.
Say what you want about Ohio State. They're going to get top-end talent every single year.
Well, here's the thing. If we're going to give them Mackenzie Melton, then we're going to give Ohio State Nick Bosa.
Ooh. Oh my God. Michigan.
Give me the Wolverines.
No, we're going to keep going until we find a team. Washington.
Yep. Give me the Huskies.
Yeah, I'll take the Huskies. Florida. I'll take Florida.
I'll take the Gators.
LSU.
I'm taking the Tigers.
Yeah, I think LSU is going to beat them in Fiesta Bowl. Penn State. Now we're getting kind of in that territory. I'll still take Penn State though.
I think I got to go with the Knights.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, if you have Saquon, not even close. But what did I tell you about Trace McSorley?
He's not going to get drafted,
and he's not any good.
Yeah.
But he's definitely not going to get drafted. Was that a B-Dubs bet, or was that just like a dollar bet?
That's a dollar bet. I still need to beat up
you do.
The ASU Michigan
State game. Oh, and real quick, fuck you, U of A. Back-to-back Territorial Cup champs.
Forks up.
Fork the fuck up.
All right, case in point, we can't really find a team on here until you get into the double digits of the rankings.
Give me the Sun Devils over them.
Ooh, bold. I like it.
No.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. ASU will be playing a ranked Fresno State, though, in the Las Vegas Bowl.
True.
Which is going to be the game that I'm going to maybe highlight. I haven't decided. No, just kidding. I'm going to be highlighting. It's actually the Orange Bowl, I think is what it ended up being. Florida versus Michigan.
Florida.
Citrus Bowl.
Why you do this?
You dumb.
Why you do this? I wouldn't mind highlighting the Arizona.
Was that the game you were taking?
Yeah.
Oh, I totally forgot. I totally spaced. All right, just kidding. Why don't you start with that and I'll find a new game.
Well, hold on. You were saying about Arizona State. I wouldn't mind highlighting just a little bit just because N'Keal Harry's not going to be playing. So where does this really leave Arizona State and the legacy that his name is slipping my mind. Head coach.
Manny Wilkins?
Head coach of Arizona State.
Herm Edwards.
Herm Edwards, and the legacy of how good his season is for the Arizona State. I was listening to the radio, and they said they'd give him a B for how good he's done for this Arizona State this year. So, without the number one weapon, really, how good are they going to do against Fresno State? This is a kind of a good bowl game to watch, even though it is Fresno State.
It's definitely a good game to watch. Donnie, I'm sorry about trying to take the Orange Bowl from you. Give me an Indian burn later. I am going to go ahead and take the Sugar Bowl.
Okay.
The Sugar Bowl this year is going to be Georgia versus Texas. I think the Longhorns are a very good team. I think you got two of the best receivers in the country in Colin Johnson and Lil Jordan Humphrey.
Who Colin Johnson didn't give a single vote for all Big 12 first team.
Which is garbage.
Yeah. He definitely proved them wrong in the Big 12 championship game.
That dude's an animal. He's like
you know who
he's like 8'10".
He reminds me of Calvin Johnson.
Stop.
The last name.
I'm going to go ahead.
The equipment. The
Colin, Calvin.
The body type. Dude.
I'm moving on.
That's not his pro comp. I'm not comparing him.
I'm moving on.
Pro wise.
Can we just talk about Lil Jordan Humphrey's first name? Lil Jordan.
Lil
Jordan.
No.
back to the point at hand. Their defense is a lot better than we give them credit for.
Yeah.
Their offense is going to put up points. But this is Georgia we're talking about. Georgia top to bottom is fantastic. Jake Fromm is probably the best quarterback in college football. Don't at me.
Everyone had him.
And Riley Ridley's a fantastic receiver. And you have, again, maybe this is a hot take, that's the best running back duo in the league with DeAndre Swift and Elijah Holyfield.
Yep.
Fantastic. I think this is going to be a really good game. I think this might be one of the best bowl games this year, even including the playoff games. I really think that this is going to come down to the wire. I'm going to take Georgia, but not by a lot. I just think their running backs are going to be too much to stop.
Okay. Yeah, I'll agree. I'll take Georgia.
But I'll tell you what, DeAndre Baker wants to be a first-round pick at corner for the Bulldogs. You got a hell of a challenge coming up for you.
True.
And he's played very well this year.
He's making a lot of money at this game.
But I want to see a 6'1" DeAndre Baker go up against a 6'6", 6'7" Colin Johnson.
Do we think the Alamo Bowl is a little bit underrated this year? Iowa State going against Washington State. I think it's a good matchup.
That'll be a very good game.
I'm not sure. Is Noah Fant playing, or did he back out because he declared?
Noah Fant plays for Iowa, not Iowa State.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And he declared he's probably not playing Iowa's bowl game.
Iowa State's been quietly pretty good, and then Washington State, obviously, we've been paying close attention to them. This is a very underrated bowl game, and I'm really excited to see.
If you like points, you're going to like this bowl game.
Lots of points.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, Wazoo's defense is a little underrated, but guys, we got to give credit to Matt Campbell and the job that he's done for Iowa State. Fantastic head coach. Maybe he goes to Ohio State? ? Who knows? It's going to be fun.
Yeah,
he's a hot name for the NFL right now.
As offensive coordinator, head coach.
Head coach.
Be interesting.
Yes, you are.
Thanks. Who's Texas Tech's head coach? That
Cliff Kingsbury just got canned.
Yep. Bye.
The Ryan Gosling lookalike.
Oh, is that him?
Yes.
That's funny.
He's a good-looking guy. Donnie, can you break down your game for me? The Citrus Bowl.
So it's actually the Peach Bowl. The Citrus Bowl was Penn State, Kentucky, and then the Peach Bowl is actually Michigan against Florida.
He's upset.
Well, no, he looks like he's checking something.
Oh, this is a Peach Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, sweetie.
No, you're good.
Still be a good game, though.
You're going to rub my nose in it?
Later. Wink.
Oh.
Wink. Oh, hey.
Help, please.
No, just Michigan, Florida, two of the top 10 programs in the country going at it. These are two programs that have a lot of pro talent, and they're going to be going to the NFL draft this spring. Two underwhelming programs. I think Michigan more so than Florida. Florida kind of didn't have exactly national championship aspirations around their team this year, but both have great recruiting classes coming. They should be minimum up and coming and in the spot next year at the worst. Michigan, you look at a guy like Shea Patterson, who's had a lot of hype around him.
He's starting to come around.
Yeah. Harbaugh really likes him, but I just the main focus I want to watch here is how Michigan responds after getting just deconstructed by Ohio State. So I just really want to watch that. I want to see if Florida secondary is as good as everybody says it is. And yeah, even though this isn't a college football playoff game, I think this is a game that features two top 10 teams. I'm really excited to watch it.
Well, and there you go. That's pretty much going to wrap up our conversation. Yeah, we only had a couple topics, but we had some really good conversations about all of this. This is a lot of fun. We're going to get back to doing the college football episode every week. Your boy Richie Bradshaw is back for sure. Yes, now that my schedule is finally figured out and I got my Tuesdays off, we're going to be here recording Tuesday nights. Episodes coming up on Wednesdays at noon, right, Skyler?
At noon. Arizona time. AZ time.
Yeah, mountain time, real world time.
Yeah.
Real world time. In the meantime, though, this has been the college football episode of the Pile on podcast, brought to you once again by Statement Games, where you make the statements and they pay you for the games. Make sure you are following us on Twitter and Instagram at the PTP Podcast. Facebook is the Pile on podcast. Questions, comments, concern, maybe some fan pictures. the PTV podcast at gmail.com.
Easy on the pictures.
Easy on the pictures. Yeah, please, nothing crazy. How about just like people hanging out with a pylon or something? Episodes every Wednesday from iTunes, Spreaker, SoundCloud, you name it, we got it. From all of us here, I'm Richard Bradshaw.
Donnie Druin.
Skylar Burkhart.
We'll check you guys next week.